Hello, world. It's June 3rd, 2026. Welcome to Cyber Briefing, your daily source for all things cybersecurity. We bring you the latest advisories, alerts, incidents, and news every weekday. Recent developments highlight critical vulnerabilities across both software ecosystems and national infrastructure. On the software front, a severe supply chain attack compromised 32 Red Hat NPM packages, deploying credential-stealing malware akin to the mini Shai-Hulud worm across 96 malicious versions. Simultaneously, Google issued a massive June 2026 security update, patching 124 Android vulnerabilities. This includes CVE 2025-48595, a high-severity integer overflow flaw allowing zero interaction privilege escalation that CISA notes is already being actively exploited. Infrastructure and organizational defenses are also facing prolonged exposure, as evidenced by a threat actor who successfully maintained a months-long stealthy intrusion inside a stock exchange executive's email inbox using native Windows administrative tools to bypass detection. On a broader strategic and systemic level, cyber preparedness remains highly fragmented across major sectors and regulatory frameworks. ENISA's 2026 NIS 360 report warns that critical EU infrastructure is suffering from an uneven defense maturity curve, leaving 7 vital sectors, including healthcare, water, and space infrastructure. Threat landscape. Supply chain attack hits 32 Red Hat NPM packages. Attackers compromised 32 NPM packages maintained by Red Hat, publishing 96 malicious versions containing credential-stealing malware similar to the mini Shai-Hulud worm. The malicious packages were designed to harvest credentials from infected systems. Organizations using Red Hat NPM packages should immediately audit their dependencies, check for compromised versions, and rotate credentials on affected systems. Google patches actively exploited Android privilege escalation. Google patched 124 Android vulnerabilities in its June 2026 security update, including CVE 2025-48595, an integer overflow flaw with a CVSS score of 8.4 that is being actively exploited in targeted attacks. The vulnerability affects Android versions 14, 15, 16, and 16 QPR2, allowing attackers to escalate privileges without user interaction through a malicious application. CISA added the flaw to its known exploited vulnerabilities catalog on June 2, 2026, requiring federal agencies to patch by June 5, 2026. Incidents and real-world impact. Stock exchange hit by months-long email campaign. A threat actor maintained persistent access to a finance executive's email inbox at an unnamed stock exchange for several months, using legitimate Windows tools. The attacker employed native system utilities to avoid detection while monitoring communications. Organizations should review email access logs, implement behavioral monitoring, and restrict use of built-in administrative tools. Executive risk and cybernomics. ENISA NIS 360 2026, EU sectors show uneven cybersecurity program. ENISA's third annual NIS 360 report reveals uneven cybersecurity maturity across EU critical sectors covered by the NIS 2 directive, with banking, electricity, and telecommunications leading, while health, water, rail, and space infrastructure remain in a high-risk zone, where criticality exceeds preparedness. 7 sectors now fall into this risk zone, including healthcare facilities that struggle with basic asset tracking and legacy systems, and 1/3 of water sector entities that have never conducted a risk assessment. The report warns that AI-enabled threats, supply chain vulnerabilities, and geopolitical tensions are advancing faster than defensive capabilities, particularly in sectors like space infrastructure that underpin essential services across Europe. Policy, regulation, and legal signals. New U.S. cyber force estimated at $11 billion startup cost. A federal commission has proposed creating a new U.S. military cyber branch with an estimated startup cost of $11 billion and a 12 to 18-month implementation timeline. The proposed force would include approximately 5,000 National Guard members and up to 6,000 civilian personnel. This recommendation represents a significant organizational shift in how the United States structures its military cyber operations. Career enablement. Bayer reinvents security awareness training for AI threats. Bayer has overhauled its security awareness training to focus on recognizing psychological manipulation rather than technical indicators, after AI-generated phishing attacks became indistinguishable from legitimate communications. The pharmaceutical giant now ties access to internal AI tools to completion of role-based training modules and requires third-party suppliers to meet the same standards. The approach proved effective when staff successfully identified and reported a deepfake voice call impersonating the global CFO